I brought a video here on the channel reminiscing about Traffic Racer, and some people said they didn't play the car game much, but played its brother from another category a lot. Do you remember Traffic Rider? Traffic Racer is its older brother, Traffic Rider. I'll talk about it extensively here in this video, since the two games are practically very similar, but as I said at the beginning, they're from another category. Traffic Ride was released on January 11, 2016, almost 3 years after the release of Traffic Racer. And regarding the developer, I don't think I have much to comment on, since both games were practically made by the same developer, SK Games, which currently only has 3 games in its catalog on the Google Play Store. For those unfamiliar, the third lucky one to have in their library is Wings on Fire, which is basically a flying game that unfortunately didn't achieve nearly the success of those 2 vehicle games. Unlike Traffic Race, Traffic Rider's objectives have been expanded a bit to give us something more to do. But basically, the objective steps we have to complete in the game are to complete a level. By completing a level, we can earn XP and money. With XP, we can unlock a motorcycle, and with the money, we can buy the motorcycle itself. And when we buy a new motorcycle, basically the same thing happens. It's obvious that we need the motorcycles. Motorcycles are important because each motorcycle we get in the game is stronger than the last, and we need increasingly stronger motorcycles to complete the challenge. Can you complete it with the weakest motorcycle? It's possible if you're very good, but there are some challenges where you really have no choice. Even if you were the best player in the world in this game, you'll be forced to buy a better motorcycle because of your stats. And even though the game features real-life motorcycles, or rather motorcycles inspired by real-life motorcycles, the game has a very arcade-like handling and style. Even though it brings new levels, each world, and levels, the game lacks a story, since it's a motorcycle game. I couldn't think of a good story about that. Maybe a guy who was just chilling starts riding motorcycles, earns money, and then buys new ones. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't be good to have a story in this game, since people prefer to focus on riding the bikes rather than the story itself. It's not necessary. But the lack of a story is actually good, because each level we play in the game has completely different objectives. Each objective is different, but even though they're different, I think I can summarize all the objectives we set in each level as a goal-based gameplay. If we reach a level, there will be a goal we have to achieve. So we play and manage to complete it. Some levels require goals in a specific amount of time. Others don't have a time limit, and you can complete them whenever you want. When I say goal, I mean, like, reaching 100,000 meters or doing a wheelie for 10 kilometers or something like that. I think you've gotten a little understanding of this game's graphics. It's a pretty interesting thing to mention, since it's evolved a lot compared to Traffic Racer, but the game's graphics are completely focused on the motorcycle models. The motorcycles are certainly well made, and nothing to complain about. The only thing I find bad is that they focused so much on the motorcycle that they forgot about the rest. The game's environments are actually okay. The other vehicles are okay, but of course they could be better. Many environments are hidden by snow or something like that, lots of trees on the screen, but you can see that there wasn't much to add to the environment, since it's practically the same thing over and over. I think one of the environments they definitely didn't do a good job of was the city of Million, because the city itself is basically very beautiful. Besides all the lights on in the city, I think what really disguises this map is its time of day. Because it's nighttime, most things are dark, and because it's dark, we can't see many details in the scenery. So, it ends up going unnoticed, making us think this map is one of the most beautiful in the game. And in the game, we have 5 buttons to control the vehicle. I don't expect I'm forgetting any, but the controls are the arrow keys. I actually use the arrow keys more in this game, so I don't have to use the gyroscope to control the bike. But if you want, you can use the gyroscope if you want to experience riding a real motorcycle. Something like this. We have the accelerate button, and next to it, we also have a brake button. This is a bit strange because sometimes you want to brake and end up accelerating and buttons are really close to each other. I know I wanted to imitate the control style of a real motorcycle, but that's okay. I think it's something you can get used to, or even better. It's best to check when braking to make sure you're actually pressing the right button, because I've died and lost several times because of it. And the fifth button, which only appears a little after you play the first few levels, is the wheelie button. This wheelie button is interesting to talk about, as it's a bug in the game that some people notice in specific situations while playing. This wheelie button becomes available after a certain amount of cooldown. After that, we can use it whenever we want or even not use it at all. We have to click it for our character to be able to wheelie, and by doing a wheelie, they can go faster, and so we have to concentrate to avoid crashing. Then, if we release the button, of course, the wheelie stops, as you can imagine, right? Generally, in most cases, people only activate this button after they're really fast on their bikes. And of course, to be really fast on your bike, you have to be in 5th gear. And man, you can't do a wheelie in 5th gear. Maybe I'm talking a lot of nonsense. Maybe there are a few bikes, or maybe 2 bikes in the world, that can do a wheelie in 5th gear. But, folks, 5th gear is the weakest gear on a motorcycle, as well as on all vehicles. So it doesn't have enough power to lift a bike, and this becomes even more absurd when we can do wheelies, man, on motorcycles like Harley-Davidsons and even scooters. But it's just a curious detail, not that it will affect your gaming experience, but only those who actually own a motorcycle will be able to notice this before I said it. But let's talk about the game's jewel, the motorcycles. That's definitely not lacking in this game. There are many bikes for various tastes and various chip sizes. I'm just sad because you might have a favorite bike, but it might be too weak. It's a bit sad because sometimes you're forced to abandon your favorite bike to use a strong one. You can even upgrade it, but you can't upgrade it completely. I know each bike has its own strength and speed, but even so, it gets a bit sad once you get attached to a bike or a style of bike, because just like me, man, I get really attached to custom styles. It's my favorite style of bike, custom or cruiser, whatever you want to call it. And it makes me sad to see that some of my favorite bikes are a little weaker than others that I absolutely have to use, but you can still upgrade and try to see what happens. Of course, guys, these bikes aren't licensed, they don't have their real-life names, and they're not official. They're just an Indian imitation for us to see and feel them, right? But just looking at some of the designs of some of the bikes there, you can already recognize them and know which ones they are. There are many Kawasaki bikes, the Kawasaki Volta, Kawasaki Ninja, Honda bikes, Yamaha, man, there are tons and tons of them. There's even a trip bike, the Rocket 3, man, one of the most beautiful bikes in the world, I think, and, man, one of the fastest bikes too. There are Suzuki bikes. I'm going to highlight the Raya Pulsar in this video, man, which is, I think, one of the most famous bikes in the world. It used to be one of the fastest bikes in the world, but even so, it hasn't lost its fame. I think the only downside to this bike is that, unfortunately, you can't get it with Indian currency, meaning you have to pay our $200 to use it in the game. Actually, guys, I'm lying. In fact, we have to pay our $120 to use this bike. And they made a fuss because they knew this bike was one of the most famous and that everyone would most want to ride it. But even so, we can see what it looks like in some videos out there on YouTube. And I know there will be some people out there saying that the latest bikes in this game definitely don't exist in real life. They're almost like alien bikes, man. Alien bikes, like bikes from the future. But guys, these bikes, even though they're not sold or marketed, it's obvious that you'll never see one like that on the street. But it may have already been presented in real life as a concept bike, guys. So, man, these are the bikes. They're the bikes that appear at those special events like that, where companies try to implement new motorcycle concepts, the most absurd motorcycle technologies, and end up creating things that look like alien technology or even bikes brought straight from the future. But rest assured, even if you see weird and strange motorcycles in this game, it may have already appeared in real life. Maybe not commercially, but maybe it did. And I know that you, watching this video now, may have a very different feeling about this game than others, but I think it's nostalgic for most people, because you probably played this game a lot when you were a kid, dreamed of riding these motorcycles, tried your best to feel what it would be like to ride them. Maybe, nowadays, you, as an adult, have already conquered your motorcycle and think that before you control the motorcycle on your phone or not, in real life, you're out there on the track for real. I think the biggest nostalgia in this game is definitely that feeling of being a kid, playing there dreaming of riding a motorcycle, and then you jump into real life and there you are riding a real motorcycle and experiencing a sensation twice as good as playing on the small screen. And even though this game is quite old, even from 2016, I can say it's aged very well, not only in terms of graphics and gameplay, but also in our hearts. Guys, do you remember Traffic Rider? I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much to everyone who watched. I'm only making this video thanks to all of you who asked for it in the comments, and I wanted to thank Tabin TV Games for giving me a huge shout out on the last video. I'm sorry for leaving your thanks for the last one, man, because you actually sent it a little late in recording this video, but I really appreciate you and thank you so much for always helping out here on the channel. Thank you so much everyone. I'll leave it at that, and thanks, said and gone.